Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Ignition Time. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you take a moment of your time to please click the like button, to click subscribe, and to enable notifications because that is how you can support our channel and the daily effort that goes into this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Let's just jump right in. Bernie Sanders is crisscrossing the country. He's going all over the country and he's making the case for the $3.5 trillion bill that he calls a once in a lifetime, a once in a generation achievement. Here's the headline of an article on your screen from the New York Times. Back on the trail, Sanders campaigns for a legislative legacy. So what is Bernie Sanders doing, folks? He's going all over the country. Remember, Bernie Sanders is an independent from Vermont. He's going all over the country, fielding questions from people all over the country, and he's talking about plans to provide 2 years of free community college, reduce prescription drug prices, and every once in a while, he is grabbing a bite to eat. So what is Bernie Sanders doing? Here's a comment from Bernie Sanders. He said, I am chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, and I am here to explain what the hell is in the budget for the American people. In fact, Bernie Sanders said this in the great state of Iowa. He's going all over the country. This $3.5 trillion package that, if passed, would amount to the most significant expansion of the social safety net since the Great Society of the 1960s. In fact, Speaker Nancy Pelosi from California and Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader from New York, are rallying as many Democrats as they can in Congress to pass this $3.5 trillion bill. And it's very clear that not a single Republican will vote for them. What is Bernie Sanders doing? He's trying to get the people to support this bill. Now, one of the biggest challenges to the bill is the conservative Democrat from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, and Senator Kyrsten Sinema from Arizona. They are both Democrats and they both have reservations about the plan, about the cost of the plan, and they don't want to support the plan. Here's what Bernie Sanders said in an interview. Pelosi and Schumer have enormously difficult jobs, they really do, and it's easy to disparage them, to criticize them, but they have no margins with which to deal with. It's not a job that I envy, a job that I could do for 3 minutes. So he's essentially highlighting how difficult things are for them. And this is what Bernie Sanders said also. This is way outside of what normal budget committees do. But on the other hand, I feel very fortunate to be in this position at this moment. He's trying to get as many people to support the plan as possible. In fact, he said, if I weren't so preoccupied with the reconciliation package and having to deal with members of Congress, etc., I would probably take the budget committee on the road all over this country. That is what we should be doing. We've got to explain to the American people that what we're doing here for them, and it can't simply be an inside the beltway process. Basically, he's saying that the American people should understand and support what we are doing. And he also said this. He said the Senate rules could, I quote, put you to sleep in about 3 seconds. It's complicated, it's boring, etc. Bernie Sanders was saying this to all of the people who were coming up to him and speaking with him as he was crisscrossing the country. And Bernie Sanders reassured the crowd as he was traveling through Iowa that his vision would become law despite the opposition of the conservative Democrat Joe Manchin from West Virginia and Senator Kyrsten Sinema from Arizona. Here's a quote from Sanders. After a lot of negotiations and pain, and I'm going to be on the phone all week, what we are doing or what we are going to do is pass the most comprehensive bill for working families that this country has seen. And he was asked if he would compromise on the overall price tag. He initially wanted $6 trillion. He said, I think we are going to get a $3.5 trillion bill. I've already made a compromise. Now, keep in mind, Senator Joe Manchin has asked for a strategic pause on the budget package. He wrote this article in the Wall Street Journal that you can see on your screen. And he said, I can't explain why my Democratic colleagues are rushing to spend $3.5 trillion. Now, Bernie Sanders did acknowledge that the timeline was pretty aggressive, but he said that there was no time to spare. He said this, I quote, you cannot slow it down. Within a little while, everything is going to become political. The only way you can get things done historically in Congress is in the first year of a session where you can escape a little bit from the partisan politics. Basically, Bernie is saying that things will get more and more political after the 2022 midterm elections. So you can start to see that more and more people are now starting to listen to Bernie Sanders and accept the fact that this is the time for Democrats to get done what they want, what they can, because to be honest with you, things are going to get harder. In fact, things are already starting to get difficult because many Republicans took advantage of this countrywide tour, if you will, from Sanders to attack the plan, if you will. Senator Mike Braun of Indiana actually posed next to a large pig. Yes, you heard that right. He actually posed next to a large pig. In fact, here's a tweet from Senator Mike Braun who writes, "We are here to show Sanders and Democrats that the road to socialism will not run through Indiana." So he posed next to a large pig, and as you can see, the image says, "Pull the pork," written in black letters over what is the large pig. And Congresswoman Ashley Hinson of Iowa also took to Twitter and she was scoffing at Bernie Sanders. And this is what Congresswoman Hinson said: "Bernie Sanders is going to have a tough time telling Iowans who live within their means that the government should spend $3.5 trillion more that we don't have on far left policies outside the mainstream. When he says it's free, it's actually a tax hike. Iowans know that." And by the way, she's responding to a tweet from Bernie Sanders a few days ago saying, "I'm traveling to Cedar Rapids today to speak with voters about the most significant piece of legislation to benefit working families since the New Deal and the Great Depression." Let's take a look at this image, a town hall with Bernie Sanders in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So you can start to see that many Republican senators, like I mentioned, Senator Mike Braun and other lawmakers, including Congresswoman Ashley Hinson from Iowa, scoffing that Bernie Sanders would have a tough time selling his far-left policies all over town. Now, here's an interesting comment from Tim Bartz. He's a 41-year-old, and he initially joined the discussion with Bernie Sanders because he wondered why the heck Bernie Sanders was in Iowa. And he said this: "Normally, visits from politicians are just shaking hands and kissing babies. But when you hear Bernie talk about policy, that's important." By the way, Mr. Bartz is an independent who said he reluctantly voted for former President Trump. But he said, "But will you change hearts and minds this way? That's what I don't know." My question for you is, listening to Sanders, has this changed your heart and mind about the $3.5 trillion plan? I want to hear from you. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. I work very hard on this channel to bring you the latest news. And do you believe that what Sanders is doing is a new legislative legacy? Is it a once-in-a-generation achievement, or is it wasting a whole bunch of money that we don't have? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I work hard on this channel every single day to bring you the latest news without any of the fluff. This right here is a little bit of information about me. Click on my introductory video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Also follow me on Twitter. This right here is my Twitter feed. You'll be able to keep up with all the latest stories I'm following, I'm reading on Twitter, and you'll be able to read along with me in real time once you see what I retweet. My Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. One last time, please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.